Hello beautiful people, and welcome to today's future spouse pick a card reading. In today's pick a card reading, I want to find out how your future spouse describes you to their friends. So I want to look into how your future spouse sees you. I want to find out how your future spouse describes you. And then I want to find out what your future spouse wants to keep personal between you and them. So if you want to find out these juicy details and have a peek under the surface and find out how your future spouse is going to describe you to their friends, I need you to pick one of these three fabulous piles. Pile number 1, we have Eros. Pile number 2, we have the Shaman. And pile number 3, we have the Maiden. I highly recommend that you go with your first gut instinct. Spirit is going to guide you towards the pile which has the most relevant information for you. If you need some help to choose your pile, you can always head over to a random number picker, but I do welcome you to explore the piles to find your pile if you do feel like that is the best way that you can connect with the reading. And once you have chosen your pile, I shall see you in your reading. Hello sensational, pile number 1, welcome to your reading. Let's find out how your future spouse will describe you to their friends. Now you chose the Eros card. Now the Eros card does represent raw sexual energy, so it's very clear from the get-go that your future spouse finds you incredibly attractive, kind of like oh take all of me kind of attractive. I can just see a dog in my mind's eye, like drooling over like a meat bone. But you're the meat bone. Don't be offended. But they're literally so attracted to you that you make their mouth water. Oh my goodness gracious me. Okay, we're going straight in with the sex for you, pile number 1. But it does make me think there will be a very strong reason why your future spouse is so incredibly sexually attracted to you. It makes me think that there is a journey that you're going to take together, like a deep healing journey. And your future spouse is naturally very masculine. Even if they're feminine, they're very masculine, very stubborn. Okay, we could be looking at Taurus energy here, but I also sense a bit of Aquarius with your future spouse as well. But somebody who doesn't like to budge, doesn't like to shift. But because your future spouse is so incredibly attracted to you, there's a softness there that your future spouse has for you. And you may be one of the only people on this planet that your future spouse will soften to and merge with. Eros. Eros. Okay. I'm hearing the goddess Lolita. So when we think about gods and goddesses, okay, I feel like your future spouse really embraces Eros. If you look into the myths around Eros, that will have like some kind of relevance to your future spouse. And for you, I'm feeling Lolita. So you may represent with the goddess, or you may recognize aspects of your being within the goddess Lolita. Okay, so you might want to Google that, you might want to check that out. Now, I want to first off go into how your future spouse sees you behind the words that they speak about you. Now, we've got the 7th house here, which is exactly what we want to see in a future spouse reading. The 7th house does represent marriage, and this tells me that your future spouse really does see you as the only marriage partner for them. No one else can reach your level of perfection when it comes to what they want in their future spouse. And with Pluto here, it does make me think that you've came in and you've nurtured them in some kind of way. You've helped them in some kind of way. It's like they come into the relationship, and I can see a boxer for some reason, a boxer, a fighter, MMA fighter, something along those lines, okay, but a very hardened kind of person. Bear in mind, this can be masculine or feminine here, okay? But they're very hardened, fierce, scary. And then they're the kind of person as well that no one will speak to. So if anyone sees any issue with your future spouse, they're not going to bring it up with them. If your future spouse is feeling a bit emotional, because people may forget that your future spouse is human because of how hardened they are, but if they are feeling emotional and someone says, "Are you alright, mate?" they might be like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And you wouldn't even think to ask them twice whether they actually are okay, because you take your future spouse's word when they tell you they're fine. It's like, it means back off. And if you don't back off, hell will break loose, okay? That's their kind of energy. They're very tough, they're very hardened, they're not somebody that you speak up to. But you do this crazy thing to them that softens them. You're the only person that can tame the beast. So you come in and say, babe, I don't know if you're okay today. Like, you're acting a bit funny. And they'll go, I'm fine. And then you can come up and just like hold their hand or touch them and say, you're not fine, talk to me. And they will soften to you. They'll be like, well, actually this thing at work and blah, 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 blah. So they show you their softer side. And I think you've really helped them out with something emotionally. And it could literally be allowing them somewhere to express their emotions. And they're so grateful to you for that. You've really helped them transform in some way. And I do think you guys have reached this level of openness and understanding by the time you reach the marriage. So I think this kind of softening the hard person has all happened whilst you're in the relationship phase, before the marriage, even before the engagement. Now, because you are one of the only people on planet Earth to have ever been able to soften this person, they are so attached to you. They're so devoted to you. And I want to say they even need you. Now, please don't get this misconstrued, like, oh my God, need, that sounds toxic. It definitely is a need. It definitely is, oh, that's my stomach. It definitely is a need. It's like they feel empty without you. See, my stomach just spoke and told me a message. They feel empty without you. They would feel empty without you. You are their sustenance. You're the only thing that gets those waterworks going. And I even want to say with the Pluto card here, they're damn obsessed with you. There is definitely obsession here. Now, your future spouse is going to be incredibly protective. Now, bear in mind, isn't always a bad thing. I'd love a future spouse to be protective over me. But if you have been in any relationships where people have been overprotective, where they've somewhat controlled you, told you what you can and can't do, told you what you can wear, what you can't wear, etc., etc., I understand that that may be something scary for you to hear, but this isn't controlling protectiveness. But this is somebody who will step up if they see someone approach you in a bar and say, hey, you know, nice to meet you. Yeah, this is my wife. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, what are you talking to my wife for? Bam. It's, this is my wife. Nice to meet you. She's great, isn't she? I know. She's all mine. That kind of energy. I do sense that your future spouse could be quite broad or could be quite tall, whether they are masculine or feminine. But yeah. Now, they really do see you as the Queen of Wands. Now, the Queen of Wands is the most desired queen in the deck. She is the hot one. She is the hot queen. And your future spouse, there's something about your body in particular, okay? I think you've got a beautiful face. I'm not saying like, it's all body. But you have an exceptional body. And if you don't feel like you have an exceptional body, I'm telling you that you do. But it is your future spouse's perfect body. It is exactly what they find attractive. I do sense you being quite athletic. Now, this could mean anything. Okay, when we think about an athletic body, we do tend to think of like a runner's body. I'm not just saying like this is runner's bodies here. When I say athletic, you could be somebody with good muscle tone. You could even be somebody who's curvy, but you show muscles. Okay, there's something about your body that looks tight or ripped. And you don't have to be a size 6 to have a tight body. You could be a size 16 and everything's just tight and in the right place. Okay, I'm sensing nice, cute. When I say nice, I mean like cute stomachs. I can just see cute little tummies with cute little tummy buttons for some reason. But it does make me think that you may be quite cinched at the waist. If you are somebody with curves, okay, you've got a cinched waist, you just look fit. Whether you work out or not, you look fit. I think that is what I'm trying to say here. You just look fit. The kind of person where you could say, oh, I don't work out. And they go, really? You don't work out? Kind of thing. Okay, and it doesn't matter what you think of your body, you just look fit. Doesn't matter what size you are, what shape you are, you look fit. You look like you work out. You either look like you run or you look like you lift weights. All right, that is what I'm seeing here. And look, your future spouse we gathered with the Eros card. They want to do it with you 10 times a day for the rest of their life. Okay, you get them going. You give them the biggest bees, burners. You give them the biggest ace of wands if they are masculine. If you're feminine, you just get them flowing on a regular basis. So this is a very SE actual view on you, I will say, which is great because they fancy the F out of you. There is most certainly deep love here with the 7th house. They would not be with anyone else. But yeah, very, very strong SE actual connection here. I mean, immensely strong. This is ridiculously strong. Pluto, the planet that rules SEX. Wands here, Ace of Wands, Queen of Wands, which is SEX, and Eros. Eros, SEX. Okay, so I am going to pull some extras from the bowl. Soulmate. So your future spouse sees you as their ultimate soulmate. And saviour. There we go. Exactly what I said. You have saved them in some way. You have nurtured them, healed them, helped them transform in some way. And that's beautiful. Okay, now let's get to the juicy, juicy part. How does your future spouse describe you to their friends? So we have Jupiter here, which is the planet of luck, its expansion, its extravagance, its overseas travel, but at the same time it represents fame because of that overseas kind of element there. It's worldwide fame. So it does make me think that your future spouse talks to their friends about you like you are famous, like you are a star, like you are their celebrity crush. Okay, there's something very expansive. I do think your future spouse speaks about you to their friends a lot. And I think this may actually shock you because this person is so hardened, tough man. I'm thinking like, I've got Terminator vibes. Like, that may be a bad example there because the Terminator is a robot and it's not like you're with a robot. It's not like you're going to marry a robot, but it's that Terminator kind of strong vibes. There's got to be a better example than that, hasn't there? Let me think. Bruce Willis from Die Hard. That's a better example. Very Bruce Willis from Die Hard. I do think your future spouse is very competitive. So I think when it comes to you as their wife or husband, it is that energy of they're always going to try and push you forward to say my wife or my husband is better than yours. And I know that sounds a little bit mean and probably unnecessary, but I do think it's this very strong alpha masculine energy they have where they have to win at all costs, including having the hottest or the most caring or the best cook of a spouse and so on and so on. Now they do talk about how hard you work. Now this could be how hard you work in the home and how much you care for them and yourself and care for the family, or this could be your own business or your career. They're very, very proud of what you do. Okay, they're very proud of how hard you work, okay, whether that is in the home or outside of the home, or you could be working in the home as well. I do think they comment about how talented you are, and I do think they always comment about your intelligence as well, how intelligent you are. I do hear them saying, and it's a she, what I'm hearing here, because my guides are just putting the words in my head. She is so intelligent, I don't know what she sees in me. Okay, so make that fit, you know, if you're a masculine watching this, make it fit. But yeah, she's so intelligent, I don't know what she sees in me. You could be studying as well. I sense something as well around them saying to their friends, like, she's going to make so much money, she's going to be so successful, or she is so successful, but she's going to be more successful. There's just something about them constantly telling their friends that something you're working on is growing. So you could be earning like a decent amount of money, but they feel like you're going to be making more. And again, that does go part and parcel with the fact that they want to have the best spouse. My spouse is the best, but they genuinely are very proud of how hard you work. I want to say, if you are somebody who is a full-time mom or a housewife, I do sense there being something creative on the side, okay? This may be in your life now, you may be planning it now, you may have been invested in it now, or you may be investing in something creative on the side, or some kind of extra curriculum or study, which your future spouse is going to, they're going to be really proud of you and support you with that, which is beautiful. Now, funny enough, even though your future spouse is a very hardened Bruce Willis kind of guy or girl, a Bruce Willis kind of girl. I can just see Bruce Willis with a wig on now, and it's really freaking me out. Chiron here. Your future spouse is very communicative with their friends about how you've healed them, how you've helped them. Now, I don't think they go really deep into this and explain it fully, because I don't see your future spouse as being somebody who wants to share their wounds or the specifics around their wounds. But I think they'll say to their friends, she or he saved me. If it wasn't for she or he, I actually think they're saying things, if it wasn't for she or he, if it wasn't for my spouse, I don't think I'd be here today. I genuinely think those are the words that come out of their mouth. It's very, very dramatic, but it's generally how they feel, and it's how they express or feel best to express the way that you've helped them and saved them and nurtured them and made them the best person that they possibly can be. I do really sense you guys being so tight-knit, like so tight-knit, a proper team here. And your future spouse, I do sense sports around them. I don't know whether they do a sport for a career or whether they do a sport for a hobby, but I think they do think teamwork's very important. They think their family's very important. They think their friends are very important. They think you are very important. And they do see that as their tribe. They see everyone around them as their tribe, their protection. I really do think your future spouse sees himself as the leader of this tribe. But I do think they also see you all as like kind of this army, and they're constantly trying to strengthen the bonds between everyone. It's really nice because it is really like a group kind of community around you guys. It's like you'll know their friends really well. Their friends will come around the house, probably sit on the kitchen side, and you'll go, get down, like, and you'll speak to them a bit like they're your sons or your daughters, things like that, like, get off the kitchen side, no, you're not going in that cupboard, do not eat my Kit Kats, things like that. It's just really jovial, really funny, big family vibes, even though it's not all family, even though you're not all blood related, real family vibes here. It also makes me think that you guys are going to start a family, and I do feel like your future spouse is going to want a fair few kids because they're all about that team. There may be jokes saying like, oh my god, I want you to give birth to a football team. Like, I want to have enough kids to make a football team. I don't know whether your future spouse used to play football or plays football as a hobby. But yeah. I actually feel this energy came up in a previous reading where it was a spouse wanting to have the kids, and you going, I don't know if I'm ready, and then he's like, come on, we want more kids, I want more kids, more kids, more kids, more kids. I think we're having like a 2222 on the clock there as well, which is a beautiful number when it comes to relationships. I do think I'm seeing 2222 on the clock because I think it's saying that your future spouse is close. Okay, you're magnetizing them in now. Okay, they're quite close to you. I don't know why I said quite. It makes me think they're about under a year away, up to a year. Okay, that's what I'm feeling here. You may be waiting around about a year on average for your future spouse to come in. I think some of you may have already met your future spouse, by the way, and that's another reason why I'm seeing 2222 on the clock. So you may be with that person now. And if you are, holler down below. I want to hear from you. I love hearing from you all. It's so interesting to catch up. Seven of Cups here as well. What they tell their friends. I do think they tell their friends that you're multi-talented, multifaceted. Okay, yeah, something's coming to me now. I do feel like they tell their friends that you have a few different alter egos in the bedroom. Is this true? Is this true? Or that you are there's a lot of variety in the bedroom with you. You're very exciting in the bedroom. I feel like your future spouse is saying, I never know what I'm getting when I get in bed with my pal number one. I never know what I'm getting, but she never lets me down, or he never lets me down, things like that. But I do also think they may communicate to their friends that you, again, it's that energy where they kind of put themselves down a little bit. Like when they're saying, sorry, my lashes are falling out. When they're saying don't worry, they're false lashes. They're not my real lashes. They're saying, she's too intelligent for me. I don't know what she sees in me. I also think they're saying here with the Seven of Cups, she's got options. I don't know why she chose me. And again, it's so sweet. I do think your future spouse does have insecurity issues, probably why they are very obsessed over you. But I don't think it's insecurity to the point of toxicity. I just think they're just a little bit insecure and just a bit humble. you know, very humble with their insecurities, but I do think they tell their friends she could have anyone. By the way, again, with my guides, I'm hearing she, okay? Doesn't mean that if you're a masculine watching this, it's not for you, but they're saying she could have anyone, I don't know why, she's with me. And again, it's just super sweet. Let's see what else they tell their friends about you. High vibrational, and high vibrational very much goes hand in hand with Jupiter here. 666, the number of abundance. Okay, 666 is not the number of the devil. 666 represents the sun, okay, the abundance, the beautiful creative energy that the sun provides, okay? Everything grows underneath the sun. Everything is energized underneath the sun as well. And I do think that potentially you do push them as well in life. So just say, you know, they are like somebody who does like to box or fight or something like that. You may push them and go, hey, you know, you've not put yourself in for a fight for a while. Why don't you do it? And they're like, oh, I don't know if I feel up to it. And you're like, come on, do it. Like, you're a bit of a cheerleader for them as well. So they're probably, I want to say, they probably speak to their friends about things that you've, how do I want to phrase this? It's like, even if you're not there, like in the pub, okay, I sense pub energy around this as well. If you're not there in the pub with their friends, they'll be saying, oh, pal number one said this the other day, pal number one says this, pal number one says that, oh, I won't be doing that if it wasn't for pal number one. Like, your name is just constantly being shared in their friends group. It's constantly being said. It's like you're sitting there with your future spouse when your future spouse is chatting to their friends about you, because you're being mentioned half the time. I think every second word that comes out of your future spouse's mouth has some relevance to you or has your name in it. Okay, we've got quite a few out here. Earth Angel, and that is exactly what you are, and that one is going on Chiron because you have helped heal them, you've made them a better person, and they genuinely do see you as their beautiful angel. Best dressed, they tell their friends that you have amazing style, and they tell them about how maybe you sketch outfits, maybe you work in design, maybe you work in fashion. That's not going to be for everybody, but as I looked at best dressed, I did look at this Eight of Pentacles, and this girl is drawing something here on her iPad by the looks of it. So you may be into art, drawing, something like that, but they do talk about your style and your taste to their friends. Again, I do think it could be in a very cocky way where they're like, oh, you know, they might be talking to one of their friends. One of their friends says, oh, my girlfriend Shirley, she's moaning that she's got nothing to wear for the event that we're going to on Saturday. And your future spouse will say, oh, pal number one will go shopping with her, or tell her to contact pal number one. She's great with style and things like that. She'll help Shirley out. And also hair, very complimentary about your hair. Maybe you do have really nice hair, or maybe you don't really think much of your hair. And I'm here to tell you that they love your hair. They talk to their friends about your hair. What could they be saying about your hair? Maybe it's one of the things that they compliment about you the most. Could be some Leo energy here as well. So maybe you could have like a Leo rising. Maybe they've got some Leo too. I do sense a lot of Leo energy with you, by the way. Bit of Aries as well, a lot of fire energy with you. Now let's go into what they don't tell their friends about you. What they like to keep between you and them. And we have Venus and Mutable here. So it does make me think that your future spouse will comment about your physical appearance a lot on a very sexual basis. How fit you are, how hot you are, how much they love doing it with you and all that kind of stuff. I've got to be so careful on here when I talk about sex because I've gotten a little bit of trouble for it. I'll be real with you guys, okay? But I think what they like to keep to themselves is the mushy gushy stuff that they actually feel about you. So they'll tell their friends, oh, you're hot AF, but they'll tell you that you're beautiful and you've got eyes as deep as oceans. You know, the more romantic side of them, they are going to keep between you. And with Mutable here as well, the word surrender is really standing out to me, but we've also got welcoming change here, and I do feel like your future spouse has welcomed change. Any changes that you've wanted to make, any changes that you've felt that they need to make within themselves, they have welcomed that. because they know that your intentions are good, because you're an earth angel here, remember. So they trust you, they trust your word, they trust your help and nurturing and guidance. But something they won't want to tell their friends is how devoted they are to you in a very sacrificial way. That is not the best way to describe that. Or what words am I looking for, Spirit? I don't know whether I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, like I see them as a dog, kind of like constantly wanting to be around you, constantly wanting attention from you. And I actually see like this big dog with like a bit of a drooly mouth. And I'm not saying your future spouse has got like a drooly mouth, but you know how a dog is so devoted to its owner. You tell it to sit, it sits. And I really do sense that energy around your future spouse, that they will lie down if you tell them to lie down. They'll sit if you tell them to sit. And they won't tell their friends how serving they are, or how, because I think they see it, I think they think their friends will see it as a weakness within your future spouse. So I think your future spouse thinks their friends will see this as a weakness, but really it's a strength. It's a strength. But they'll surrender to you. You could have an argument and they'll surrender and just be like, look, let's just leave it, babe, because I love you. It's like that kind of energy here. So it really is that mushy, gushy love and romantic stuff that they like to keep to themselves. It's also the fact here with the surrender card, they'll do anything for you. They'll move mountains for you. They'd move across the world for you. And they can't tell their friends that, because they think their friends are going to think that they're potentially like under the thumb. Do you know the saying under the thumb? Like, oh yeah, you know, you're really under the thumb with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. And they may have like a bunch of friends that will like tease with things like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that they mean it, but they're going to tease. So when your future spouse is with their friends, they've got to still act a little bit hard and tough. Like, look, yeah, you know, I love my pal number one. She is my saviour. But, you know, I'm the one who's in control in the home. When in reality, you're in control. But it's so SE-XE as well how you are in control, because I do feel like you are the smaller one out of you both, okay? If you are a feminine watching this who's into masculines, you're more than likely the smaller one, because your future spouse is quite a big, tall and broad person. But I do sense you being the one who's either more petite or more slender than your future spouse. So you're this like smaller person, sweet, beautiful, angelic being who's controlling this really tough, hard Bruce Willis kind of persona, and it's really impressive. But I love that, because like you can be like, okay, big boy. Hearing the word big boy. But it's kind of like, okay, big boy, you're gonna do everything I tell you to do tonight. And like, you know, I can't be too expressive because I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed on here. But it's just hot, okay? How you control this big, dangerous beast of a person. And like when I say beast, I don't mean they're, you know, in a negative way, like Beauty and the Beast. So there could be a bit of that, but more so in the fact that the beast is a bit scary. Okay, the beast is a bit scary. It doesn't mean that they are a big, you know, beast like person. And also, Ten of Wands here. I don't think they admit to their friends or speak to their friends about the fact that they're blindly in love with you. Because the Ten of Wands, you can see the lady cannot see through the wands. But I also don't think they tell their friends that it's you that drives their determination. Because their friends may realise that since your future spouse met you, that your future spouse works harder, they're achieving more, they're going for more opportunities and more things, but they won't admit that. They won't admit that you are the backing drive behind that. They just want their friends to think that they're the one who's like, yeah, I just want the best for myself. I do think your future spouse tells their friends that they'd be lost without you, but I also don't think they admit to their friends that they would be heartbroken without you. Okay, so you can kind of see the vibe here. Their friends, they get the very kind of raw kind of energy, like, yeah, I'll be lost without her or him, and then they don't share the kind of like, oh, I would be heartbroken, I would cry for months and months and months on end, I would never find anyone who matches my beautiful pal number one. I do want to say that we've got Aries energy here, Cancer energy here, and Aquarius energy on the board. So you may resonate with those zodiac signs, or you may want to look out for those zodiac signs for your future spouse. And then I did want to leave you with a couple of blessings coming your way. This could be pertaining to your future spouse, or it could just be for you personally. Okay, so we have the Prince and the Crown. So it does make me think that potentially you are getting a promotion of some kind. You could be getting a promotion from being a supervisor to a deputy, or being a deputy, moving up to the manager, the main manager. Okay, some kind of recognition here. You could even be getting your master's at university as well. That's something that's coming up. If you're somebody who has worked through a course and maybe you've taken a year out, or maybe you've left the course early, I do think you're going to go back to that course, and you may go back to that course when it comes to meeting your future spouse. You may have some extra freedom to go back to the course and finish the course, okay, and gain the highest grades, or the highest form of grading that you can get. I also have the luggage here, which does tell me that there is going to be some travel coming up for you soon. So if you've wanted to go on holiday and you just haven't had the time, I do think you are going to find that the time window opens up for you to go on holiday. Or if you haven't had the money, you may find that you do have the money to go on holiday. You have some kind of windfall of some kind, or you gain a tip or a bonus, which means that you do get to go on holiday, you do get to travel. So it does look like there's travel coming up for you soon. So yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Okay. By the way, I did want to put in there as well, maybe travel for work. Travel may come up for work. I also want to say that that may be pertaining to the future spouse as well. For some of you, you may meet your future spouse whilst you're abroad holidaying, or you may meet your future spouse if you are traveling for work. I don't know whether your future spouse does live in another country. I don't really gather that, but I do think for some of you, your future spouse will have been born in another country, or they'll be of a different background from you. So that's something to bear in mind. But if you do meet them on holiday, if you do meet them while you're working away, I do think you are both living in the same country. So I don't want to make that really confusing here, okay? All right then, pile number 1. I'm going to leave that there. I want to say thank you so much for joining me in this reading. If you did like this reading, I do ask that you drop it a like, and if you do resonate with any part of the reading, or you want to just tell me how excited you are to meet your future spouse, please comment down below. I absolutely love hearing from you. And if you do like content like this, I ask that you please subscribe so that you can be notified whenever I post a brand new pick a card reading. Take care of yourselves, pile number 1, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye. Hello, beautiful, wonderful pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Let's find out how your future spouse will describe you to their friends. So you chose the Shaman card here. So I would not be surprised if we do have a few healers who have entered the reading at pile number 2. But essentially this is very much teacher and mentor energy. When we think about the shaman, we think about somebody who studies diligently, somebody who does like to study, or somebody who does need to study frequently for their vocation. There's also somebody who needs to understand themselves and know themselves and heal themselves on a deeper level, so that they're stable to be able to give energy in any teaching or mentoring way. And then it also needs to be somebody who can teach in a way where people want to listen, where people want to accept the lessons, etc., etc. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying here, okay? So it does make me think that we've got healers here, we've got teachers here, we've got coaches here. And if you're watching this and you're like, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a coach, I'm not a this, I'm not a that, potentially you may actually look into this when it comes to meeting your future spouse or getting married, okay? You may decide to change your career, you may decide to add an extra string to your bow at some point, okay? And even volunteer potentially at some kind of youth group or something like that, because I do sense a lot of energy around children here. Now this doesn't have to be for everybody, but I do sense teaching children, potentially primary school. I do sense teaching people or caring for younger children, potentially nursery, okay? That's here. But if you're not somebody who is even interested in teaching kids, because, you know, it's an acquired taste. Love kids, love them, but I don't know whether I'd be the best teacher when it comes to kids. But for some of you, I'm also getting that you may have met your future spouse in your youth. Other than that though, there is a very childlike kind of love between you both. It's a love that feels very free, nice, easy is what I feel as well. And not easy in a bad way, not like, oh, this is easy, boring. Easy as in, you know when you're a kid, you know, oh, my stomach's making funny noises. Did you hear that? Crazy. You know when you're a child, or maybe like you're a teenager, you have your first boyfriend, girlfriend, and you've got no worries in the world. It does make me think that you guys are quite stable. You may have, you know, a stable home together. You may both earn a decent amount of money so that you're very safe. You don't really have to worry about money and security in this marriage. Okay, I'm feeling that very strongly. But you know when you're a child and you've got your first love and you've got nothing to worry about, you don't have to pay bills, you can go out until 9 o'clock at night, come home and your tea's on the table for you. I mean, that's not for everyone. I never had my tea on the table for me when I came home after I'd gone to see my boyfriend. But for some of us, you know, I'm just kind of building up a story here for you, okay? But that's what this love feels like. It's free. It's nice. There's no worries. You're not having to worry about money. You're not having to worry about property. You're definitely not arguing about money or property or anything along those lines within this marriage. And that is beautiful. So your future spouse sees you as someone who is very stable, somebody who's very loyal, and somebody who's very dependable. Now you could well have Scorpio energy here, Taurus energy, we've got some Gemini energy on the board as well. Bear in mind that you don't have to resonate with those signs. They don't have to be your sun, moon, rising, etc, etc. It could just be the energy around your relationship with this person. It's very beautiful. It's very harmonious. It's there's a lot of conversation between you both as well. You have great conversation, great back and forth. You do really entice each other's minds as well as enticing each other's bodies. Now, I do believe that you are somebody who doesn't need to be with your future spouse. You're somebody who could be very stable just on your own. So I do feel like your future spouse has just an air of worry that they're going to lose you. So I do think they try very hard to keep you, okay? And I do think this little air of worry is going to come in as we go forward in the reading, because it's definitely there. But it's like, it's not intense, it's subtle enough to be sweet and somewhat protective. What's really beautiful here as well with the Two of Cups is your future spouse sees you as the divine counterpart. I do think that you guys were very drawn together in quite a spiritual way. I feel like it was very automatic. It could have been a love at first sight situation as well. It could have been a situation where you stared at each other over a cafeteria. I don't know why I've just said cafeteria, but it's coming out. But it could be anywhere, okay? You could have stared at each other over a bar. But as soon as you locked eyes, you were both just drawn and sucked into each other. It was so supernatural, the way that you first met and the feelings that you both felt, that you know that there's something more here than just the love that you feel on the earthly plane. There's like a connection in the spiritual. Glue holding you together in the spiritual. Part of me wants to say there could have been a twin flame connection here, okay? Could be twin flames, but we'll see. We'll see if that comes up again. But they do see you as somebody who is a bit higher than them, I feel. I don't feel that they feel fully worthy to have you. And that's where that worry comes in again. I do feel behind closed doors, your future spouse will do anything for you. I feel like your future spouse is the kind of person to rub your feet, brush your hair if you want them to brush your hair. They really love you to the point where they treat you like a goddess, they treat you like a princess, they treat you like the empress. They want to shower you with gifts, they want to shower you with flowers. They really, really love and appreciate you. And they think of you in extremely high regard. See if anything else wants to come out. Something just flew out there, but I don't know if I don't feel like taking that one. I'm going to put that back in. Hair. Okay, hair came out for pile number 1 as well. They really like your hair. They think your hair is very beautiful. I did say they may brush your hair. I did just say that. Bone structure. They think your bone structure is very elegant. Very, very, very regal-esque, I want to say. Very princess-esque, very goddess-like. I do think you are extremely beautiful. And I definitely sense you having like a very lovely kind of, I want to say voluptuous figure. Now bear in mind that you could be a size 6 with a voluptuous figure, okay? Because you may have, you know, bits that poke out and nice little bits that you can squeeze. But that's kind of what I get with you, like you're very squeezable. Very Taurus-esque. When I think about Taurus energy, it's my supermodel card. It's my supermodel zodiac sign. Sorry, supermodel card. I do have Taurus out here, the cards, that's why I say card. It's my supermodel zodiac sign. Taurus energy is effortless beauty, and that's what you have. So, I do sense that your future spouse is a little bit more private than most regarding you, but I do think they're a little bit more private about you. They don't talk about you so openly just because they don't want to sell you to their friends. I definitely feel like you are the type of spouse that may be a little bit more distant to your future spouse's friends. You may be okay with this. You may be like, yeah, I don't really need to have my future spouse's friends as friends because I've got my own friends. Or you may be like, oh, what a shame. But if you are a little bit more distant and you do think it's a shame, it's because your future spouse is worried that their friends are going to steal you off your future spouse. I'll be real with you, okay? That's what I'm feeling here. Because you're the type of spouse that's very exclusive. I want to say your energy is exclusive. Your physical appearance is exclusive. Your future spouse may get teased a lot by their friends when they may say things like, how in the F did you get pile number 2? Damn, kind of thing. And I do think your future spouse is like, well, I'm successful and I'm attractive, so why the hell not? But it's just banter. But whenever their friends bring up you, they get a little bit touchy because there is a slight worry in them that they could lose you. So when they're out with their friends, they're going to be very modest about their relationship. They're going to try and avoid talking about their relationship. But I do think because of your beauty and how much of an absolute trophy you are, their friends are the ones that will bring you up a lot. So your future spouse will discuss very much with oh god. Sorry. Oh, I've just had a message from the spirit. Okay, I'm gonna relay it. It did make me laugh, it just shocked me a little bit. Sorry. Okay. So your future spouse will talk about how secure you are, how much they trust you. Bear in mind, they're telling their friends, I trust my spouse, I trust my pile number 2, because they are never ever going to get with you. But they talk about how you take care of yourself. They definitely do that. Oh, what's interesting here actually, House 2 Taurus, we've got the same symbol on here, roses coming out of a heart. Does that mean anything? All the roses, very secretive. They're very secretive about you. Yeah, sorry, it was just confirming what I was already saying. Yeah. Where was I? I do think they talk about what you're up to. So they will talk about, you know, what you're doing at work. They will talk about how you're getting on with very practical things that you're doing. You know, they'll talk about you on a very practical basis to their friends. You know, if their friend's like, oh, how's pile number 2? They'll be like, oh yeah, you know, doing very well at work at the moment, just had a promotion, blah, 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 blah. They'll talk about you in that kind of way. They do talk about how patient you are with them as well. But, and this is the part where I started giggling, because it's so untrue. It is so untrue, it's unreal. They will bat away conversations about sex when it comes to you. They will try and avoid that at all costs. And if they do talk about it, they are going to be extremely brief. Like, they're going to say things like, it's not that interesting, like, no, I've got nothing to add to that. You know, if they're going around the table saying, oh, what's the craziest thing you've done with your wife or husband? What's the craziest thing you've done with your girlfriend or boyfriend? It'll get to your future spouse and they'll go, oh, we haven't done anything crazy. And everyone will be like, no, surely you have. Like, come on, tell us. And they'll go, no, we ain't done nothing crazy. Just because they don't want to talk about you in an asexual manner because they're scared that all their friends are going to get bloody hard-ons. So essentially what they're trying to do when they talk to their friends about you is like tone you down. And they do that because they don't want to sell you to their friends, which is very interesting. Now, got a star here and justice when it comes to talking to their friends. No matter what, no matter how brief your future spouse is with their friends about you, their friends think you are an absolute star. You shine bright like a star. I do think you are the kind of spouse where their friends do imagine you naked a lot. I just say that very briefly because we've got the star here, okay? The star card, and she is free, she is naked, she is pouring those cups. So even though the conversation is very brief, what goes on in your future spouse's friends' imaginations is not brief. It's actually quite explicit. And with the Justice card here, I actually think it's quite interesting because your future spouse tones you down to their friends, but karma will always prevail. So you will have a chance to meet them. You will have a chance to hang out with their friends. There will be moments where you bump into them in the supermarket. There'll be moments when they bump into you in a restaurant and it's like, okay, pull up another 2 chairs, come and join us. And their friends are literally like, pile number 2 is most certainly not as like bland or plain as pile number 2's future spouse was trying to make out. So don't worry when I say that your future spouse is toning you down for protective reasons because they're so insecure that their friends are going to want to F you. You will get your opportunities on a regular basis to show them how exciting you actually are, because with you, I feel like your future spouse is trying to portray Taurian energy with you. Taurian energy is very stable, it's straight to the point. It doesn't have to be overly elaborate, which is why I say Taurus beauty is very effortless. But I do think deep down you're very Gemini. Because Taurus energy as well is very slow. I think you're actually a lot quicker than what they make out. You're very witty, you're funny. Witty and funny, same thing, isn't it? You're very witty, you're very quick, you're very curious, you're very expressive. But you will get plenty of chances to show yourself to their friends in all of your curious Gemini glory. And they're going to be like, what the fuck? I think their friends will speak between themselves when your future spouse is not around as well and be like, it's so crazy. Like, pile number 2's future spouse never describes pile number 2 in the light that I know pile number 2. And they will talk about you. They will fantasize about you. They will talk about how they want to do things to you. And how, if it doesn't work out with their person, they'll have you instead. Okay, things like that. Okay, that's the kind of, that's kind of what's going on around here. Okay. See if there's any more information. What does our pile number 2's future spouse tell their friends about our pile number 2? Okay. So we've got mystical, which is the energy of mystery. So they do hold a lot back. And sexe. They will communicate to their friends about how attractive you are. And I'm actually really glad that came out, because when I was actually saying, like, your future spouse is going to just say, oh, don't put your eyes on my wife kind of thing. It's more the fact that they're very brief. It's not that they're saying that you look plain. It's not that they're saying anything negative about you. It's the fact that they're just not saying enough about you. But they will laugh and joke with their friends and go, well, yeah, my spouse is virtually like a supermodel, or is, hot as hell kind of thing. Beautiful even, you are beautiful. You've got to think as well, this is a lot about respect here too. So your future spouse knows what their friends are like. Your future spouse knows that their friends are a little bit naughty and will say derogatory things about women or men, okay, depending on the gender here. So they're very respectful over you as well and keeping you private, not just because they're worried, but at the same time because they'll lose the plot. They'll lose their shit if anyone says anything out of turn about you. And I really like that. So I see sexe here, but what I really want to change that to is beautiful. It's like, my future spouse is beautiful and somebody who needs to be worshipped, but from afar. Somebody who deserves respect. This is not somebody that you can have like your wild way with. This is somebody that you have to earn to experience their beauty. You have to earn it. And I earned it, and my friends haven't earned it. So you can't say these things about my future spouse. And I don't think the things that their friends are saying about you is highly offensive or anything like that, but they will comment on your beauty. They will comment on how attractive you are. They will comment on your like naked body and things like that. And you know, your future spouse doesn't like that. It's disrespectful. Okay. Now the things that they like to keep to themselves. First house in Gemini. The fact that you are a lot of fun. You are highly intelligent. You're a lot of fun. I think that you're also very experimental in the bedroom as well, which is something they most certainly will not express to their friends, because my gosh, it would drive their friends absolutely wild. I do think that, I feel like your future spouse is constantly commenting on how devoted you are to your future spouse, how devoted you are to them. They do everything, it's everything that, every choice they make, it's for me. And I know this sounds really weird, okay, and I don't mean to be put off, but they do that because, again, it's that protection over you. Like, pole number 2 is with me. Pole number 2 does everything with me. Pole number 2 only thinks about me. But really, behind closed doors, you're very individual, you're very independent. You may be somebody who goes places on your own, you may be somebody who goes on holiday on their own. There's also something around kids here. They like to, I definitely feel like you guys are going to have kids, but I don't think you have kids before the marriage. Because something they like to keep between you two is the conversation about children. They don't like to express that outside of the relationship. It may be because you're both planners, you both like to plan things out. It may be because this is very personal between you both. Of course, making a kid, of course, is making a kid. Building a child is very personal between two people. But this is something they don't express outwardly. They don't express it with their family, they don't express it with their friends. This is between you both. I can see you both kind of daydreaming about like, oh, I wonder what our kids will look like. I definitely see there being 2 kids. I see there being 1 girl, 1 boy. I feel like one of the children may be from you or your future spouse. One of you may bring a child into the relationship. Doesn't have to be for everybody, but that's definitely for some. But there's going to be another one if you do already have a child, okay? If you're resonating with that, there is going to be another kid with your future spouse, for sure. But it's going to be planned, and you're going to wait for the right time. Okay, I'm going to end off with a few charms. These are just random blessings. They may have a connection to your future spouse, or it may not. It may just be a message for you from spirit. We've got the Palace. Now, I don't know whether you are currently working on your own palace, your own body palace body. You know when they say the body is your temple? That's what I'm trying to say here. I don't know whether you are working on your body. I don't know whether you've just started a gym or you've changed your diet. I want to say what you're doing is really working, and what you're doing is really drawing in that future spouse. I know that seems like a very superficial thing, but it's true. You know, you're getting a lot more attention if you are doing something to your body, changing something on your body, working on your body, or even just detoxing that body. It's really working. If you've been thinking about starting a new fitness regime or start a new club, it could be like a yoga club, it could be a Zumba club, or yoga club, Zumba club, does that make sense? You know, it could be starting a new yoga class or a new Zumba class or something along those lines, or you are thinking about changing your diet. Maybe you're thinking about cutting out dairy or gluten or sugar and things like that. By the way, you don't need sugar. You don't need sugar in your tea. Okay, you don't need sugar on your cereal. Just use honey. If you're thinking about doing that, definitely go for it, because I do feel like that is going to magnetise in that future spouse. You're going to have a lot of eyes on you if you don't already. And this goes part and parcel with the body is your temple, with the butterfly here. You are transforming in some way, and I really do feel like this is around the body. You are glowing up. You are shining bright like a diamond. All right then, pile number 2. I'm going to leave that there. I really hope you enjoyed this reading, and I hope it helped in some way. If it did, please drop me a like, and please comment down below if you do resonate with any of it, or you do want to just say, hey, I'm really looking forward to meeting my future spouse. If you do like content like this, please subscribe, because I love making content like this for you and I want to make more of it. And pile number 2, please take care of yourselves. I appreciate you all so much, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye. Hello, beautiful and gorgeous pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. Let's find out how your future spouse will describe you to their friends. Now, you chose the beautiful card, which is the Maiden here. Now, the Maiden is the first female archetype in the trifecta of female archetypes. We've got the Maiden, then we've got the Mother, and then we have the Crone. So the Maiden is that youthful energy, which makes me feel like you may have an extremely youthful energy, or you may be watching this and be very youthful. I also want to say that there's a lot of protection around you as well. I definitely feel this being masculine figures. This could be a father, this could be brothers, this could be uncles, it could be cousins. With you guys as well, I want to say that there could be a very strong protector in spirit. And I do feel like this protector could be masculine. I can hear the letter P. P. This could be Peter. Okay, I am hearing very faintly Peter, but this could be the letter P. If there's anybody who's passed with the letter P, my camera's playing up. My camera keeps playing up. It keeps zoning in on something that isn't there, and it's taking... I can't focus when it's doing that. It is very weird. My camera never does this, and it's around this area here. Like it's like this, it's like it's picking up something that's floating around this area. This could be this masculine figure who's passed. I want to say this masculine figure really does protect you in spirit, and I think you feel that protection at times, but they're watching over you, they protect you, and I can hear they're never going to let anyone hurt you. I'm never going to let anyone hurt you. Now, there's also something around the skin, okay? I do feel like you have very smooth skin, very youthful skin. I feel like you have very glowing skin. I want to say for some of you, if you do struggle with skin issues of any kind, you are going to have that beautiful glowing skin that you've always wanted, but you're just going through something at the moment. You're going through some kind of hormonal change. But glowing youthful skin is most certainly destined for you. Okay, so I know when we're going through those phases where we have skin issues like acne and things like that, we think it's never ever going to end, and it does. It does. Oh, this card matches my nails really nicely as well. I like that a lot. I do want to say, if you don't have any masculine figures around you, this protective energy may be coming from your future spouse. You may have an incredibly protective future spouse. Now, I definitely feel from the get-go that your future spouse is very private in general. I think there's somebody who has a very tight-knit friend circle. I'm just going to move that just to make sure that it's not, my camera isn't playing up because it's trying to zone in on that, even though it's up here. It's very bizarre. It does make me think that there's some energy here. There's something else here. I feel like there may be somebody's ancestor here. But I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to try not to get distracted. Now, your future spouse, I feel like they have a very close-knit friends group. There's somebody who, they really have to trust the people that they allow around them. Okay, it does make me think that this is quite a deep person. Your future spouse is quite deep. Also makes me feel like your future spouse has a lot that they need to protect. They may have a thriving business that they need to protect. You that they need to protect. It's like they have a lot that means a lot to them that they need to protect. So it's very important that they're very aware who they let in their circle. It also makes me think that they're very spiritual as well. But when I say spiritual, I want to say more like they're always looking deeper into things. Like it's, I can hear them constantly saying, oh, that doesn't sound right. Very smart and savvy as well. It's like if there's a contract, they'll go through the contract and be like, that doesn't sound right. It's like they know their rights. They're very clued up. Now, I really do feel like you are younger than your future spouse. And I want to say for some of you, you're a fair bit younger than them. Okay, this could be like 10 years plus. Doesn't have to be for everybody. For some of you, it could be a couple of years difference. But there are going to be people watching this that there is like a 10-year gap between you, even more for some. I do feel like your future spouse has been through a divorce previously. So I do think they have been married previously. I can't see whether there's kids or not. There could be kids here. I think there actually is kids here already. Now, it doesn't have to be for all of you. This is a general reading, so everything isn't always going to resonate. But for a fair amount of you, there could already be kids here that they've had from a previous marriage. Or you may already have kids, but I feel like the kids are on their side more so than yours. But it could be vice versa, easily. But I sense kids, okay, multiple kids. Could just be one though. Now, you really are the light of their life. And I think you entered their life at a time where they were feeling a little bit down and out. Maybe they thought that their ex-wife or husband was their last opportunity for love. And they kind of had the energy of, well, it's all downhill from here. And then you come in and you lit them up. They felt like the luckiest person on earth just to be able to look at you, let alone actually be with you and eventually marry you. When you walk in the room, it lights this person up. You cheer this person up. You keep this person in their lightest possible energy because they just love you so much, but at a real soul level, like their soul loves you. And I think because they have this like deep love and devotion for you, they really do get lost in this love as well. It does make me think that your future spouse may have some Pisces in their chart. We've definitely got Capricorn, we've definitely got Scorpio here as well. So Pisces, Capricorn and Scorpio for them. For you, we could be looking at a little bit of Scorpio as well. But I do sense a fair bit of fire in your energy. There's like a bit of a rebelliousness behind you. It's like you're very innocent on the outside, but you're very rebellious on the inside. I like that. There's a polarity there. It's like a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets kind of energy. But yeah, it does make me think that your future spouse may have some heavy Pisces in their chart. Pisces Venus, Pisces Sun, Pisces Rising, Pisces Moon. So they really have got lost in love with you. They're like lost at sea when they're with you. I really want to say that they can't see clearly. I think they're going to... I actually sense it annoying you a little bit at times, but I can sense them being very romantic. I can sense them writing poems. I can sense them writing you letters, being very romantic, but in a very old school way. But also constantly telling you how much they love you, but more elaborate than that. Not just like, I love you, just like, I love you to the moon and back, my beautiful darling. You are everything. I don't even know what I'm saying here. I could never imagine my soul ever entwining with another the way that mine has done with yours. Like things like this. Now it doesn't have to be in that voice, because that does sound really like, oh my goodness, where's this person stepped out of the 1920s? But they may be very fantastical with the way that they feel about you a lot. And I think at times you'll go, do you really mean it? Is this a show? But they're just so lost in love with you and they do mean it. Now, 9 of Wands here, 8 of Swords. Very, very, very protective energy. Your future spouse does not want to lose you. Your future spouse is going to keep you at all costs. Your future spouse, this is something interesting. I don't want to put anyone off here. Itchy leg. But I can see the maiden up in the tower and your future spouse keeping you in that tower. Please do not be frightened, because please do not be frightened that your future spouse is going to lock you up in a tower. Okay. They may have a very extravagant home. They may offer you financial freedom, which means that you will be in the home a lot. That's what I'm trying to say here, guys. This is not anything, you know, that you need to call the police about. They may, expect you to be a house husband, housewife, or give you the freedom to choose, okay? You will have a choice here, because they love you, okay? They're obsessed with you, but they love you. They've got care for you. They're very gentle with you as well. So bear this in mind. They're never going to force you to do anything, but they most probably will give you the option and say, you don't need to work if you don't need to. I've got you. Or you may end up working for their business. They may have their own business here as well, okay? Because you do have the 8th house, and that does make me... I do really feel with the 8th house, it does talk about self self-employed. Like that's what it does that for me. It says that to me, okay? Whenever I think about Scorpio energy, I think about self-employment. It's just the way I read that energy. Now, what else do they say? I mean, what else they think? Sorry, we're on how do they see you? Apologies, peoples. They see you as high vibrational, 666. The number 666 does not represent the devil, it represents the sun. Okay, and we have the sun out here. So they see you as high vibrational, you lighten their life, you raise their vibration. Oh, we've got quite a lot here. Savior, and of course, we have Savior. Because you came in at a time where they felt really dark, where they felt like it was it for them. Like, that's it. My best times have been dark and mysterious, and I'm putting that on top of Neptune there. So you may have like a dark hair, dark eyes, so you may look very mysterious, but at the same time I think this could be an energetic thing. I think there's a bit of dark, and I think there's a little bit of darkness and mystery, because I think they think, how does this beautiful maiden, pile number 3, want to be with me? Is there something that they're hiding? And this may be where they want to kind of cage you in, because they're like, they feel like you could slip through their fingers, and that's very Neptunian energy as well, because when you think about the planet Neptune, it's a gas planet. So if I were to touch Neptune, it would just, I won't be able to grab it. There'd be nothing I can grab, it's just gas. So it does make me think that this person, every single day, it's a chase with you. They think they can lose you at any moment. You're very hard to grab, you're very hard to keep. And you may think, well, no, I'm not. You know, if I want to be with someone, I'm devoted and I'm going to stay with them and that's it. But because you're so high value and you make this person feel so ecstatic, they fear that. They fear losing you. They feel like they can't keep you. They feel like they've got to push every day to keep you. But it excites them as well, because it drives them. It drives them every day. They're excited every day to be with you because they're constantly chasing. And hair has came out for every single pile. So everybody who has watched this reading, your future spouses absolutely adore your hair. Now, the hair is a symbol of health and vitality. Okay, I don't know, they're like, look at this hair, look at this hair. It is so dry right now, look at those ends. So I don't know, I'm like, this is the example of the hair that your future spouse likes, when it's actually not. It's when it's tied back and I've kept it away, and I've just spat all over my cards as well, because I was going to say, because I'm a mess, but I'm not going to manifest that into the universe. I'm not going to say nasty things like that about myself today, no. But my ends are very dry, okay, that's not bad manifestation, my ends are literally dry, that is just a fact. But hair, it is a sign of youth, and you did get the maiden. It's a sign of vitality, which is also something that can be connected to the maiden here. Hair. They love your hair. They love I think it's more the fact, and I think they do love your hair, but I think it's also the fact that you're so healthy and glowy and bouncy. Like, I just get really bouncy energy with you, like, woo! Whatever that means. Okay. So let's find out the juicy juices and find out what they actually say to their friends about you, how they describe you to their friends. Now, bear in mind, this is a private person. This is somebody who does keep you very coveted, okay? You're coveted here. Now, they describe you to their friends as somebody who is very pure and innocent. But I don't think you are. As I said, I feel like you're very kind of even naive on the outside. Maybe, just maybe, you're somebody who plays it down on the outside. Maybe you're very, very feminine on the outside. You can be masculine or feminine watching this, by the way. But you may be somebody who maybe acts a little bit silly or is very easygoing. So at times you can come across a little bit naive. Or maybe even come across as a bit of a pushover at times as well for some of you, just because you're very kind and you're very easygoing. And I don't necessarily feel like your future spouse thinks that you're a pushover at all. By the way, this is more like friends, okay, I'm thinking of here. But there's like an innocence that radiates off you, a purity that radiates off you. But also your future spouse sees you as something extremely pure that cannot be tainted. Quite virginal as well, because we've got Virgo here, and Virgo is the virgin. Some very protective energy as well. I need to protect my pure maiden. But I do feel like they describe you as being very innocent, very pure. I think they describe it in a way to say, you know, don't say anything derogatory about my spouse, because that's my pure maiden. They don't call you the pure maiden, but that's my pure maiden. It would be weird, wouldn't it, if they're in the pub and they're like, that's my pure maiden. But at the same time, Virgo does talk about service. And I do think that you are somebody who is very devoted to the relationship. I do feel like if there are kids on your future spouse's side, or your own kids here, your future spouse really complements how caring and loving you are, and how serving you are to those children, and how proud they are of you, and how even things like, oh wow, like anyone would be lucky to have pile number 3 as their mother, as their carer, as their stepmother or stepfather or father, and so on, you know. But if there's no kids involved, I do think they do talk about wanting children with you, wanting more children with you, even if it's just in hindsight. You know, if I was going to have more children, I'd want it with pile number 3. This person is so perfect, they're so loving, they're so caring. I do think they talk about you being a very good cook as well. I can see this coming up too. I think you're somebody as well who's a great events planner and organizer. It does make me think that you most definitely have some Gemini in your chart potentially. Bear in mind, this could be a Gemini 7th house. Could be a Gemini 5th house as well. When I think about gifts, I do think about the creativity around that, and that is the 5th house. But you're great at buying gifts. You're somebody who actually takes the little things into consideration as well. So just say it is your future spouse's birthday. You may have you may be very childlike with it as well. Like, buy multiple gifts, do a little gift hunt, or have a gift in the house, and then they'll open the gift in the morning. Just say you're in bed. I don't know what you'd be in bed in the morning. You might be in bed in the morning. You may be able to lay in, but you'll have a gift on the kitchen table. Happy birthday, babe. They'll open the gift. Da, 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 da. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, pile number 3. And then they'll get in their car and they'll be like, oh, there's another gift on the dashboard. Open the next gift and it's like, happy birthday, baby, blah, 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 blah. And then they might get to work in their office and there's another gift on the, do you know what I mean? Like, you're very creative. You think about the little things. I don't know whether that was very creative, what I just said, but it did just come off the top of my head. So please don't bash me for that. But there's like thought that goes into everything you do. And I think it's the same when it comes to like your cooking and things like that. So much love goes into everything you do. And I think they express this. I think they express like, I have the perfect spouse. My spouse is so perfect and so pure. Gemini as well, that talks more about that creativity that I said. You're very popular too, but I do also think this is your future spouse bringing you into their friends group as well. Feeling very comfortable to have you with, in correspondence, I was going to say, in groups, in friends groups, having a good time, having a chat. Okay, you fit in anywhere. It's that kind of energy. And they really do protect you in those moments, but really raise you up as well. Like shh, 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 my spouse would like to speak kind of thing. So if you're ever left out of a conversation, they're going to bring you straight in. If they feel like the conversation is steering too far away from anything that you can join in on, you know, when you sit, okay, this is one of my pet peeves. You know, when you're sitting in a pub. Pub is the word of the day today. I don't even like pubs. I grew up in pubs. For the majority of my childhood, so I'm over them. But if you're sitting in a pub and you're sitting with your person's friends, and this has happened to me many times with many men, and you're sitting there and everyone is talking about things that happened in the past. Do you remember when we did this? Do you remember that? Do you remember when we did that? And they start talking about people that you don't know, experiences that you were never at. And there is just no way that you can integrate any of your own opinions into that conversation, because you have no idea what the F they are talking about. And one, I think it is the rudest thing ever when people do that. I think it's okay when people do it. Sorry, just blabbing. I think it's okay when people do it very flightingly, because I've done it with my friends. It's like, oh my God, do you remember that? Yeah, move back on, you know, to the conversation, because we have people who weren't there. But when people literally talk about that for like half an hour and you're just sitting there like, I cannot believe the rudeness here. Like, they know that they've iced me out of the conversation. That's one of my pet peeves. Comment down below if that's ever happened to you, and if that is one of your pet peeves as well. But this, your future spouse is the kind of person that if the conversation were to go in that direction, I honestly don't think your future spouse's friends are of like an ignorant level at all. Okay, please, like, your future spouse only lets the best into their life, including why they've let you into their life, because you are the best. You are the bestest. But they will always bring you into every conversation. They always want to include you in group activities and things like that as well. You know, you're not going to be left out of group activities. They're not going to be, I'm going out with my mates, screw you. You know, they're constantly going to try and include you in everything that they do with their mates, because they just want to be around you all of the time. In a very sweet way, okay, it's sweet. But they will talk about how lucky they are to have you. Like, I've hit the jackpot, I have the best spouse. With the Six of Wands here, they really do feel victorious. That they have won you, or they feel like they have won you. It does make me think that they do have some competitive energy in this. Scorpio can be quite competitive, to be honest, as well. So it could be the Scorpio in them, but they are literally like, I think you make them look better as well. There's something about you that really boosts their social status. So they will talk about how they've been very victorious to win you over. They may even talk about how they are more victorious than their friends because they have you, the prize, the maiden, the pure maiden. Now let's see if we can gather any more information around what they tell their friends about you. Body. They talk about your body to their friends. I don't know whether they, for this one, I'm not feeling them saying like, oh, let's describe part number 3's body here, because I've got 444 here. It does make me think that they may talk about maybe a fitness regime or a diet that you're on, or some kind of health boost. Because that fell on Virgo as well, and Virgo is the sign of health and nutrition, exercise and things like that. It does make me think that your future spouse is somebody who does like to exercise a lot as well. There's somebody who is into, I want to say they're outdoor sports with your future spouse, but I do feel like your future spouse will share your fitness goals and fitness achievements with their friends, because it's just like swapping information. You know, they'll sit there and be like, oh, my spouse, my pal number 3, has tried this new diet, cut out this, blah, 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 blah. It's working really well for her or him. You should try it out. You know, it's that kind of energy. They're having that kind of conversation. It's very practical. You know, it's not derogatory in any way. Bone structure as well. They do talk about the fact that you've got beautiful bone structure, which is very, very bizarre. Bone structure. This could be connected to the body, you know, look, like, here's some tips, you know, my spouse, my pal number 3, has an amazing body, has beautiful bone structure, like, you're going to want to take the tips, you're going to want to take some tips here, you know, it is what it says on the tin, she or he's an advertisement for what they do. Back as well, they talk, I mean, I'm starting to think that this is spirit saying they do talk about pal number 3's body in a very complimentary way. Maybe there are certain aspects of you that they do like to say, oh, like, it's, again, I feel it being very respectful. It's like, oh, my pal number 3 is a masterpiece. But yes, they're talking about you and your body. Yeah, they talk about your body, particularly your body here, to their friends, because it's banging. And they're very proud of your body. And it is a known fact that females are more attracted to men's faces. So as a female, we look for a kind smile, kind eyes, a face that we can connect with. And men, they are always looking at the body. They go for the body. That's the initial thing that they go for. Now, what do they like to keep secret? What do they like to keep to them, keep between them and you? What do they like to keep between you and them? S-E-X. S-E-X again. Look at that. Scorpio and the High Priestess. Now, High Priestess here, I do think of this as an SE actual card when it comes up in a reading like this, because it's as above, so below. okay? But it's also hidden things, things that you don't see, things that a lot of people don't see, things that people only see when they're very intimate and close to you and they're in the bedroom with you, i.e. body yada yada, and you know, things that you put things into. Also, we've got the pomegranates here with the High Priestess. The pomegranate is a sign of fertility. So to become, well, fertility is like, there's no point being fertile if you're not having SEX. I mean, there is. Like, you can be a fertile person and not have SEX, but you know what I'm saying. There's a connection here with SEX. Okay, so I do feel like the High Priestess as well. Here, look, the moon. There's so much moon symbolism. It's what happens in the dark. What's very private between you both as well. What happens in the dark. I don't know whether that was just bumbling words right there. I have no idea. I'm speaking like I'm drunk or something. High Priestess as well is the number 2 in the tarot. The private things that happen between two people. Like, this is my interpretation for this reading, alright? High Priestess for this reading. If you're a tarot reading, like, no, not the High Priestess. No, right? The High Priestess here, for me, means this. And Scorpio, again, it's that SE-actual energy. It's those things that happen in the dark. I do think you guys get up to some, you know, quite kinky stuff. I'm going to be real. I don't necessarily feel like your SE-actual style is basic. I feel like you guys really go for it, but I feel like your future spouse is really, what's the word? Simple words. I can't think of the simple words today. Experienced. Ha! That was the word I was thinking of. Experience. It's so ridiculous, isn't it? Your future spouse is very experienced in the bedroom, and they know what they like and they know what they want. I can just see them being so quite sweet in public. And as soon as you get them behind closed doors, they're like, right, picking you up, doing this, doing that, whatever, like that. You just drive them wild. So it's like they get taken over when it comes to bedroom antics, and you love it. You absolutely love it. But they do not talk about this with their friends. They do not talk about the SEX. The SEX is extremely sacred. If anything, when they talk to their friends about anything that even, you know, edges on SEX, they talk about it in a very pure light here, okay, in a very virginal way. But underneath it all, you guys are doing some of the craziest stuff. Crazy stuff. Now, I do feel like your future spouse does want to have kids with you. And I want to say with this one, is hindsight the right word? It's like, in an ideal world, they would like to have kids with you. This doesn't mean that you will, but in an ideal world, they'd like to. And they most probably will express, you know, would you want to have kids with me? Would you want to start a family with me? It's funny because in a lot of these readings, I'm finding the divine masculines are the one who want the kids here. And if you're divine masculine watching this, it's you that wants the kids here in this connection. Where normally, and I shouldn't say normally because maybe it's not that normal for the female to want the kids, but you hear so many stories from men in particular that say, she's nagging me for another kid. So maybe it's not actually the truth. Maybe it's just these stories going around, you know, she's nagging me for a kid, blah, blah, blah. And maybe that's not actually the truth at all. Because in my readings recently, it's the men who want the kids. But your future spouse won't mention to their friends that they do want a family with you, that they do want kids with you. I'm going to pull a few charms to finish off the reading. These charms, pulling them on the premise of blessings, okay, so these may be blessings coming your way. Or there may be something pertaining to the future spouse in some way. A blessing pertaining to the future spouse, if that makes sense. Okay. This, for me, is the world and music. I don't know whether you're travelling or you're going to be travelling overseas to go to a music festival. I don't know whether you're going to be travelling to like Ibiza or somewhere like that. So if you're from the UK and you want to go for like a great clubbing weekend holiday or long weekend, you're going to go to Ibiza. If you're from Australia, I think there's an island out there that people go to. If you are from Australia watching this, mention what the island is called. It's a bit like our Ibiza where like the energy is so vibing, a lot of like club vibes and things like that. If you're from America, where do you guys go? Do you go to like Miami for something like that? I'm not too sure. Again, comment down below and let me know. But you may be travelling overseas to go to some kind of music festival. If you are somebody who is into the arts, bear in mind that I do have the music note here, but it doesn't necessarily have to be music. This could be the arts in any form, okay? You may be traveling to see something, you may be traveling to perform. You may get an opportunity to go overseas for something to do with the arts. I also want to say that this could be healing as well. So this could be something like sound healing. So you may actually be traveling to another country or having an opportunity to travel to another country to go to some kind of event or some kind of retreat that's all about like sound healing and things like that. Also, I want to say for some of you, if you are interested in pursuing something around the arts, pursuing something around music, or pursuing something around like sound healing and things like that, you may actually be enrolling on a course online from where the course is live but from another country, or it's being broadcasted from another country. I do feel like your future spouse is going to give you is going to want to experiment with you, okay? As I said, your future spouse does have like that air of, as I said, I keep saying spirituality, but it's a little bit more earthbound than that. It's like a very practical spirituality, if that even makes sense, but that is the best way that I can describe the energy. So I won't be surprised if your future spouse wants to participate in going to like spiritual retreats and things like that and doing a little bit of experimenting themselves. So it may be that you guys get an opportunity to travel to experiment with things like this, because your future spouse is going to want to take you places, they're going to want to have fun and things like that. And yeah, I think you're going to really experience the world with your future spouse, which is beautiful. But it does look like you are experiencing the world already without them. So yeah, that is your reading, my beautiful pile number 3s. I want to say thank you so much for being here with me today. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much. If you did like this reading, please drop it a like. It only takes a moment to hit that like button. And if you do resonate with this reading, or you want to tell me how excited you are to meet your future spouse, or tell me the name of your pet dog, just comment down below. Let me know. I love hearing from you. I love communing with you in the comments. I love communing with you. And if you do like content like this, please subscribe, because that is the best way that you're going to be notified whenever I do post a brand new pick a card reading. Take care of yourselves, pile number 3, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.